For those of you who watch me on a regular basis here at MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, you know I'm fascinated by this program. They do more with less, and so give them some talent and look out. We are talking Wisconsin football National Signing Day. We've got Tyler Hunt on the line from Bucky's Fifth Quarter. Please join him and the rest of the staff there at SB Nation covering the Badgers, of course, throughout the sports calendar, but we're talking football right now, and it's National Signing Day. Wisconsin currently, according to the 247 composite, at number 26 in the nation, number 5 in the Big Ten, which if that converts to the field, that would be a drop in Wisconsin production. But we know better than that. Wisconsin actually takes top 40 classes and turns them into top 10 teams. Tyler, how you doing tonight?
Good. It was a really exciting, National Signing Day. Everything went pretty smoothly. Obviously, you always worry about guys maybe, having that last minute change of heart or having some issues getting their letters faxed in and stuff like that. But Wisconsin had pretty much everybody from their 19 that they expected wrapped up by like 9:30 Central Time. The only one was Herbig out of he's from Hawaii, so we were waiting on him a little bit to get his stuff in, but nobody was really worried about it. He was just on island time. So really good National Signing Day and another exciting class for the Badgers.
So you pulled a Hawaii kid all the way up to the northern part of the United States.
Exactly. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk with him. We've been working on trying to get some recruits on for our podcast, but I'll have to ask what he liked about those Wisconsin winters over the Hawaiian winters. So,
goodness, that would be Nick Herbig, an outside linebacker.
Yep.
Number 16 at his position, pretty highly rated and thought of. So he comes from the island all the way to Wisconsin as a top 15 prospect at outside linebacker. Very impressive. Good stuff. All right, Tyler, some more late breaking news involves the number 1 player in Minnesota. And with the work that PJ Fleck has done there and his recruiting prowess and obviously just natural salesman, so much energy and everything else, we talked Minnesota football actually last night, and his the statement that he's made there. But number 1 player not only in the state, but he's right in his own backyard, and Wisconsin was able to pull him away.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, that's a big get. 4-star outside linebacker. If anyone's ever seen a highlight tape of him, he's a pure pass rusher. And he really gets after the quarterback. A long, lengthy guy that will help to fill in a role because obviously guys like Zach Bond and some other guys are graduating this season. So you need to fill that linebacker position. Wisconsin did a good job. They got 6 linebackers in to this class, so that was kind of the main focus of this class. But Caden Johnson was still kind of up in the air, according to a lot of reports, even coming up until last week. I think the coaching staff knew over these last few days, but the fan base and the people around recruiting, couldn't get a solid word. And obviously, PJ Fleck was hard in his recruitment of him, and Scott Frost in Nebraska was hard in his recruitment. And I know a lot of people around, that pay attention to recruiting in Wisconsin thought it was going to be Nebraska, but he decided to go with Wisconsin, and obviously, Paul Chris and company is really excited to have him because he's a tremendous player. And anytime you can get the number 1 player in a state that PJ Fleck is recruited really well, it's certainly big. So I think sounds like he's pretty excited to be part of Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is very excited to have him.
We got Tyler Hunt on the line from Bucky's Fifth Quarter. Talking Wisconsin National Signing Day. The Badgers, of course, going to the Rose Bowl against Oregon, bringing in another solid class, actually an upgrade over what we've seen in recent years at number 26 in the nation, according to the current 247 numbers. The stereotype, Tyler, sometimes fits, and it would be this time that Wisconsin's top 2 players in the state are offensive tackles, and they're both going to the University of Wisconsin.
Absolutely. This class is built on their bread and butter. Obviously, I think it was 5 or 6 linemen if you count the walk-ons there. And obviously the top 2 of the class were Trey Wettig and Jack Nelson. Both guys, big guys, solid players at their position. Wettig is, I think, 6'8", 330 already. So coming in, he's going to be size-wise. I can't imagine what Wisconsin will do to him because you see these guys that they get in that are maybe sometimes smaller and get in that weight room of Wisconsin's and come out huge. So a kid like that's already got that frame on him. I'm really excited to see what Wisconsin can do with them. But really, those 2 were the headliners of the class. You talk about the class last year. Obviously, Graham Mertz and Logan Brown were, the 5-star recruits at tackle, and then of course Graham Mertz, 4-star quarterback, were pretty high-profile names. And so to have guys that'll come in and fit with those two is pretty exciting. So Wisconsin didn't shy away from their bread and butter of getting the linemen that they want, and especially keeping guys that are in state. I think Paul Chryst has done a really good job of building up a border around Wisconsin and getting the players that he wants. I think they ended up with 5 of the top 6 players from the state of Wisconsin coming to University of Madison. So it's exciting.
Christmas is coming, folks. Shop Amazon. Use the link in the description section below, and you will help us build the channel. And, of course, we bring you the best in college football debate and discussion and analysis each and every day with guys like Tyler Hunt from Bucky's Fifth Quarter on SB Nation. As you look down the list, the top guys aren't necessarily going to be the top guys on the field. It typically turns out that way, but based on what you've seen maybe from footage online, gathered in your own research and so forth, some of the scouting people and recruiting people that and just what you've read, are there any other gems maybe down the list a little bit further that catch your eye that you're excited to see?
Yeah, absolutely. Malik Reed is a linebacker out of Chandler, Arizona, that I think is really exciting. I think all 6 of the guys that they landed at linebacker are pretty solid guys. Jordan Turner is another one out of Michigan. He looks very physical. When you watch his highlight tape, he looks like a man among boys out there, simply because of not only his strength, but just his ability to lay hits on opposing players. And really, I think this class as a whole is exciting. Maybe they don't have the flashy names like they had last year in Logan Brown and obviously Graham Mertz, who has gotten a ton of talk and attention in that class from 2019. But they're really foundation guys that are going to help build a program and have success and get to 9-10 wins. Obviously Wisconsin, they need tight ends and linemen and linebackers and defensive line, and that's kind of the focus of this class. As for some other gems, I think Cam Large, he's a tight end out of Massachusetts. I think he's going to be a really solid player. Obviously, Wisconsin had a little bit of trouble at the tight end position this past year with injuries, so to get guys like that in are going to be solid. He had recruitments from Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia, and he said, Wisconsin just felt like a really good fit and just something that he loved the people in the place. So I think he'll be an exciting one too. So really, this class, maybe doesn't have the flash in the names, but there's a lot of exciting guys that 3-4 years from now, you'll know their names if you're a Badger fan.
It's a great school, and the stability in the program, in addition to the results on the field, obviously help along the recruiting path. Just the succession of coaches has obviously made sense. There's been a connection there. It's not a program that's going to be dumping coaches left and right. Paul Chryst has done an outstanding job. And it's not, it can't hurt to say, yeah, we basically have owned the Big Ten Western Division, and we're going to the Rose Bowl this year.
Absolutely. I think that, that track record plays a big, role. You see in recruiting where coaches take other jobs, or you worry about a coach having not too much success, but a lot of success in hopping to a bigger job. This is Paul Chryst's dream job. And, I don't think anyone has ever thought differently about that. Obviously, he's got a long history at Wisconsin. He played here. He was, the offensive coordinator back in those previous 3 Rose Bowl days. And obviously he's shown that he knows how to win here. So he's going to go after guys that he thinks he can win with and develop. And of course, Jim Leonard is kind of the same way on defense, where, obviously Paul Chryst is an offensive mind, but Jim Leonard is an excellent defensive mind. And he played here and he played in the NFL, and he wants to be here. So the only thing you got to worry about him is maybe getting pride away from a head coaching job, because he's that good. So to have guys leading your offense and defense like that is special. And I think it really attributes to this recruiting class getting better each year. Obviously 45, ranking back in 2018 to 29 and now 26. So each year it's kind of gotten better, and that's exciting for Wisconsin fans.
Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Lock it in right here for National Signing Day reports from all over the Big Ten and the nation. I don't even know how many we're bringing your way, but just inside the Big Ten, Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, Nebraska, Minnesota. So we've got just all the big boys covered right there, including Wisconsin. Tyler Hunt, I know you've got a ton to do on a day like today, a lot to write. And obviously, it's still basketball season as well. So we appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely, Mark. Thanks for having me.